All right, we're still working on this scooter. I got the front clip off now. So you can see the front leg shields are off. And I'm going to try to find out why I'm not getting any lights on the dash. All the gauges are working, but the dash lights don't work. They don't illuminate. So we will figure out how to make that happen. All right, well, today I got the Dr. Pulley sliders, slider rollers, or whatever you want to call them, for the Variator. And these are 20-gram slider rollers. So or roller sliders, or whatever they want to call them. So I'm going to replace those nasty ones. I also cleaned up the edges of the Variator plate, the Variator cover. So I cleaned the sharp edges off that, which people recommend doing. The Dr. Pulley sliders are in place. These are 20-gram sliders. I think the stock sliders were 21 gram. I'm not sure. I kind of just shot for the middle weight slider. And these things like to fall out. So that's going to go back together. I cleaned it all up. You want to clean them all up when you put them back together. So this is going back together. Well, this rescue attempt on this scooter may or may not work. This is going to go on there. This holds everything in place, and the screws go in there. Again, these are the old sliders that are a mess. All kinds of flat spots on them. I cleaned them up just so you could see them. There's big notches out of them. Look at that one. That one's got a big notch out of it. This is what was left of the clutch. It's a mess. So I've got a new clutch ordered. I don't know how anybody could even ride a bike like that. Brake pads, front brake pads, down to the metal. I had the actual clutch housing turned, so it's all cleaned up now. Because the old front tire was so dished out. If you can see how it's kind of cupped. So I got a new front tire. It was only like 40 bucks, 45 bucks maybe at the most. All right, I'm back out in this messy garage again, and I got the tire on the rim for the scooter. I'll show you that. See, I got it all cleaned up. This thing was so neglected. It's a lot cleaner than it was. I took some fine steel wool to clean the rim up, but it was just so badly stained from brake dust and grease and everything else that happens when you don't take care of a motorcycle. And I also took off the rotor, which is paper thin, that was neglected as well. Tonight, I'm turning while I'm doing for the benefit of everyone, instead of wasting away. You'll be all of you just fine, 'cause everything's all sorted out. The pleasure's been all mine. Can't be around when it's all going down with lace. Alright, so I'm working again on the scooter. Still waiting for the cables, but in the meantime I've got two panels here, if you can see them. Got two panels that need some help. They've been kind of beat up, so I'm going to start sanding those and get a coat of black paint on them. One of them had been painted black and the other one was blue, so I figured, hey, I'm just going to get some black paint and paint them. So I got some hammered black paint, and so I'm going to sand those and get those ready to be put on when the cables come. And then we'll get this bike up and running, and you can see what a turd looks like after it's been polished. That's all for now. It's all going down with so I'm painting the lower body panels right now. They were all scuffed up and needing painting. So those are getting painted right now while I'm waiting for cables. And to blend those with the body, which was all scratched up, bring you over here. I'm gonna paint this section of the body right here the same color because it was all scratched up. It looks like the bike had been laid down, so I'm gonna paint a little section of that on each side to kind of blend it in with the lower panel. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know, I'm just gambling on this, but It's all part of polishing the turd. I just want to show you kind of all the parts that I went through in order to get this bike operational. And this is something that you shouldn't attack or do unless you really feel confident that you can accomplish that feat, because it's definitely a struggle and it's not an easy thing to do. Long story short, sometimes it's better just to buy a bike that runs good when you get it, not a piece of crap. And I bought the piece of crap. But anyhow, I'm going to show you the parts that I had to replace. I replaced a starter, obviously brake pads, front brake rotor, found a windscreen that I replaced because that windscreen was terrible. I replaced the emergency brake cable. I also replaced the turn signal indicator, or the turn signal actuator switch, along with the high and low beam switch. That small micro switch right there, that's a switch that engages, allows you to start the engine. When that's engaged, it allows the engine to turn over. Replaced the hand grips, replaced the centrifugal clutch. I replaced the shock rod under the seat. I replaced the brake lever, and I also replaced the rollers in the Variator. And there's probably other things that need to be replaced on it. It's safe now, but long story short, don't buy something that you don't think you can really work on, or you think it looks good on the surface, because a lot of times there's hidden stuff that you find as you start digging into it. I still need to get a muffler for this thing. It tends to backfire and stuff, but it runs great, and we'll see how long it goes. I got actually a new windscreen on it, and I'll show you all that stuff in a little bit. But right now, that's all. I went ahead and replaced the windscreen as well, because I got a nice large GV windscreen to protect my wife. She likes it, and that's all that matters. Brand new front tire, exhaust is on, brand new rear tire, bunch of other things. Got a used light switch, turn signal switch. Got a bunch of things done that needed to be done on it, but now it starts and runs perfectly. The wife's happy, and you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So we're gonna go ahead and start this for you. She's running. Also had to replace a bearing in the rear wheel. That's why that rear wheel was making so much noise. But it looks pretty decent. I mean, it's a little rough, and it's kind of idling low right now, but it's running good. It's got some flaws, but that doesn't matter. Ended up finishing it up, making it run, and it's doing pretty good. So that's all for now. Also, like, share, subscribe, and just remember, I'm just a man in a cave causing mayhem. Thanks.